President Obama congratulated Secretary of Defense Leon Panetta just 2 hours and 7 minutes after being told that the Navy's famous SEAL Team 6 had completed yet another daring mission. Tonight, we've learned that as the president prepared to speak to the nation, he was also authorizing the rescue of Jessica Buchanan, an American aid worker, and her Danish colleague, Paul Thisted. They were held hostage for 3 months by Somali kidnappers late Monday night. The president was told that Jessica's health was deteriorating. That's when he authorized the same unit that killed Osama bin Laden to act. Just after 5 last night, almost 20 Navy SEALs parachuted in 2 miles from the camp in northern Somalia, shot and killed the 9 heavily armed kidnappers, then flew the hostages via helicopter to a U.S. base in the African nation of Djibouti. The entire operation took about an hour. After the State of the Union speech, the president called Jessica Buchanan's father to tell him his daughter was safe. Joining me now is Steve Clemons, Washington editor-at-large for The Atlantic Magazine and senior fellow at the New American Foundation. Steve, when the president was congratulating Leon Panetta last night, we had no idea what that was about. He was very specifically talking about good job tonight, the job that the Navy SEALs pulled off.
Well, I just think, any time President Obama is giving a big speech, bad guys better watch out, because this reminds us all about, the White House Correspondents' Dinner, where a lot of the planning before the president's White House Correspondents' Dinner on getting Osama bin Laden was underway, and that next morning they launched the operation to get him. It was another remarkable night. I remember seeing Leon Panetta and Tom Donilon, the president, that night, and I saw Tom Donilon leaving a party early and him telling me he had an early morning the next day. So they've really demonstrated an ability not just to play Rambo, but to play it cool. I saw one of the president's senior legal advisors tonight who said the media is going to jump on the fact that this is like a Tom Clancy act, but he says it's really so much more than that. There are layers upon layers of diplomatic negotiations, multilateral support, and what the president is doing is demonstrating that you can work with a lot of moving pieces and do something that's quite legitimate and still take decisive action. This isn't John Wayne or Rambo or a unilateral action. There's a lot of other stuff here, and they're demonstrating how to be very effective and still hold all these moving pieces together.
From a political perspective, which maybe the president just excludes this from his mind when he's making these decisions, this was more risky than anything else in the sense that if this had gone wrong, as we have had rescue missions in Somalia go wrong under President Clinton, for example, if this had gone wrong, it would have exploded on him basically when he's going into the State of the Union address. The world would know that we lost Navy SEALs in Somalia on this kind of mission.
I mean, it could have ended. It could have ended the election for him. I think many people, depending on the biases they bring to next year's election, find defining moments, framing moments through which they think about what they want to see their leaders do. And so this was a huge gamble. If it had lost, like Mogadishu and Black Hawk Down, or the efforts that Jimmy Carter undertook to try to get American hostages held in Iran out. We've had bad stories. They don't always turn out good. But I think that we're seeing very complex movement and great leadership decisions. There are risks, but we're also seeing a military that's been at war for more than a decade, that's learned how to do stuff and apply intelligence and capacities in such a way that we haven't really seen up front. And it is like watching movies from 10 years ago about what the future was going to look like, and the future's here now.
I think the timing of this one is as close to a proof as you could ask for that this president simply puts the political risk calculation out of his mind and makes nothing but a military tactical decision. Steve Clemons, thank you very much for joining us tonight.
Thank you, Lawrence.
You can have The Last Word online at our blog, thelastword.msnbc.com. You can follow my tweets at Lawrence. A quick guest note for tomorrow, the big get. I'll be joined by Elizabeth Warren, the Democratic candidate for Senate in Massachusetts.